Hello and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I'm thinking we'll see how these all get uploaded, but basically this is going to be the first Call of Duty review I ever put up, I think, because this is actually the first Call of Duty game that I've ever played. Well, not necessarily like the first, but the first I really got into it because I had one before it and I played it trace amounts and then didn't do much of it. This is the one I really first played and got into and played a ton and didn't like put down after like a day of like I don't like this. So I just consider it the first one I played. Whatever. Anyways, it's not technically okay, not technically. So this is going to be the review. That's going to probably be a little bit longer for the Call of Duty reviews. I'm probably going to do some more here, but in doing this, I mean, I played this like this is probably like, I don't know 10 years ago or something or more. Probably no, definitely more. I played this now when I was like high school or something. So like I played it quite a while ago. This is the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, hence the numeral rather than like the whatever the number instead of the eyes. You know what I mean. And I'm going to probably explain more stuff of how to play and everything here, just so you know that that's why I'm being a little more granular with some of this stuff here, and then I'll just have people refer back to here, as if you really need to know how to play Call of Duty. But in case you don't, it would be dumb to not explain it for people who haven't played Call of Duty and are like, well, I'd like to know because I haven't. That's why I'm clicking on one of these reviews. Otherwise, why would I bother, right? So we're going to start with that. And it's Call of Duty. I don't remember the story for the first one, the first Modern Warfare. So, story wise, I can't really tell you what happens in here either. But it's not important, right? You're not playing Call of Duty for the story, are you? Maybe you are. In that case, I'm sorry. This is not the review for you. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The like I said, the story I don't exactly know what's going on here. Mainly, I guess what I would say is the idea is like basic broad strokes here is that you're around fighting battles and wars and things. There's probably a threat of, world war and terrorism and all this other stuff that's going on. And basically, you're just going around to different areas around the world in these different factions, trying to keep the world in control and at peace as much as possible without, you don't want things going crazy and, crazy takeovers and bombings and killings and stuff and whatever. That general idea. And what it would be like back then, the idea of what it would be like to be warfare at the time. It would be the modern warfare. These more advanced things. And like, rather than being, the idea of it being rather than just, historical war stuff. So it's a little bit different in that regard. And it can take more liberties because these things haven't actually happened. And it follows, I believe, the events of the previous game. But again, I haven't played that, or I haven't replayed that yet since I played it forever ago, so I don't know how it ties in necessarily. We'll get there. We're going to be chronologically out of order, but that's to be expected with a lot of these things. So for the gameplay stuff, basically for the campaign, we'll start there. So you start off, and right away it teaches you the basics of playing the game in this little training section, where basically the idea is like, oh yeah, you're a good soldier or whatever, but we want to show all these rookies how you do it or whatever. And so as you're doing things of like, you can run, jump, crouch, go prone, fire, reload. You can switch between two weapons. You have two weapons and a sidearm. Sorry, two weapons. One is your main weapon. One is like, I guess you have two weapons. That's what I want to say. You have two weapons, and you have you have like grenades. You use those. You have like a melee attack, and you can do the thing where you aim. You can fire from the hip. You can aim down your sights, and actually you have a thing where if you hit the button when you're like kind of like hovering over a target, it'll snap to the target and make it easier for you to shoot at them that way. So it's an easy way to quickly switch to different targets and snap to them really fast. I guess that's a way to make it more precise to play on like consoles. And then once you do this little section, then you go into this other part that's, again, teaching you more of the basics of just running this little obstacle course thing to see how well you can do this, of shooting the enemy cardboard cutouts and avoiding the civilian cutouts, and then you go through all that thing, see how well you do, and depending on your score, it'll give you a difficulty level to play on. But you can also pick whatever difficulty you want instead. I played it on the easiest difficulty, of course, because I suck at video games, so I did that. And then you're kind of thrust into the main game of basically going to these different places. But before each mission, there's a little bit of like a voiceover thing and a bit of a briefing, maybe a little bit of cinematics here and there. and then you're tossed into the area. And from here, you're given a general objective of what you're supposed to be doing there. But as it goes on, the situation always evolves as you're in combat. Let's say you've got superiors shouting orders at you to do the next thing. And again, it's never anything too specific, so you can kind of tackle your objective in a variety of ways as long as you get it done. And it's another one of those games because it's very modern first-person shooter controls and everything, like you'd expect. This kind of popularized this, I think. You also have a thing of your health. You don't have a health bar or anything. It's represented by how bloody your screen gets, and it goes away a bit over time. So there's a lot of ducking and cover or whatever, getting out of the line of fire when you're hurt. Otherwise, if it gets too bloody or whatever, get too hurt, too much in a row, you're dead. That kind of thing. But there are auto checkpoints, whatever, auto saves, whatever. So if you die, it'll start you back at whatever those checkpoints were. And through these missions, you're doing a variety of things in the missions too. There's some stuff is just basic going around these areas. Maybe you're clearing out a building. Maybe you're holding a position while I'm taking out enemies. Sometimes you're manning special vehicles or weapons or predator missiles. You shoot those down and aim where those go, or being in trying to fight off aircraft or stuff or getting out of the way of that kind of thing. Or you might be driving on snowmobiles, and then there's missions where you got to be stealthy and sneak around, take out enemies that you need to take out, but don't try to necessarily kill everybody because you don't want it to alert everyone to your presence there, that kind of thing. There's also these little hidden laptops to find with enemy intel in them, and they don't really, as far as I know, they don't do anything other than they're a collectible thing for getting 100%, but there are those scattered throughout the levels as you go as well. And so most of that campaign is just going through and doing all the missions, seeing the story kind of unfold as you're doing this, until you get to the end. You go from the beginning to the end. What a great review this is. And then you so that's the main idea of the campaign. It's there, and that's I mean we'll get into it a little bit more here, but that's the campaign. Then they have the special ops. Which are the special operations missions, whatever, spec ops. You do these, and with these, what happens is you basically, this is meant, really it's geared towards being either local or online co-op, but you can play most of it solo. And in these missions, these are basically based on stuff from the main campaign, but with more specific objectives, the snowmobile section. Well, now you gotta see how fast you can do that, or the oh yeah, you're in the town or whatever trying to take out enemies without killing too many civilians. Well, now you gotta actually do that, take out X amount of enemies without killing too many of the civilians that are in the town. Maybe you have to survive waves of enemies, that kind of thing. They just give you more specific things to do, and they're all based on stuff from the main campaign. You do that, and you have a difficulty setting. You can, some of them are performance based, but most of them are you pick your difficulty for the AI difficulty. And there'll be 1, 2, or 3 star difficulty, and beating it gives you those stars. You can, with enough stars, you can unlock the next thing, and so the whole main goal there is to try and get all 69 stars of beating all of the spec ops missions. And also, you unlock more missions as you go until you have them all unlocked, and try to get that. And I don't know if you actually get anything for doing that either, because again, I haven't 100% of that. It's hard, and I can't do it by myself. So there's that. And then there's the online, which I was a little surprised is came back on. You can do stuff on there again. So I was able to actually do some of that too. And the online is probably where most people have spent most of their time in Call of Duty, especially around this time in Call of Duty's history. This is when it really started getting a bit more focused on the online, as that became pretty big, as more and more people had online for their consoles and everything. It was becoming more widespread. This was one of the big popular ones to spread that. And the online here is, you start off and you pick one of these preloaded, loadouts, and you select probably a simple mode like free for all or team deathmatch, something like that, whatever. There's only so much available right away. Go in and start killing people and getting experience points and use those to level up. Leveling up unlock stuff, and that's when you can unlock more weapons. You unlock more modes to play. There's also on top of those, there's search and destroy. There's demolitions. We're trying to basically kind of like search and destroy, where search and destroy is when you're going to go and try to plant bombs, but you only have 1 life in it. So trying to plant these bombs, and one team is trying to keep you from doing that or defusing them. Search and destroy is kind of like that, but you just can keep spawning, so you just keep going at it. or that's demolition is like that. It's like search and destroy, but you're doing that. But then there's like ground wars, like a bunch of people. There's more people in the matches. And there's hardcore variants of a bunch of these too, where you do a lot more damage, and there's friendly fire. So like there's definitely a variety of modes to pick from for sure. But you also unlock other things too, like you have a little like customizable whatever is a call sign or whatever. Basically, it's like a little banner and an icon, and by leveling up and doing other specific things, throughout the game, like getting this many kills or doing this kind of feat or whatever, can unlock more of those icons and like banners to customize your little name tag. You can also you're unlocking stuff like more weapons and things to do, and you can start customizing your own loadouts. You can make your own loadouts, which consist of a primary weapon, which is like like a rifle, submachine gun, light machine gun, whatever. There's a number of things, and there's like a sidearm thing, which is like usually some kind of pistol, maybe a shotgun, something like that. Then there's a grenade type, a special grenade type, and then you can pick. There are 3 different perks you can pick, which are from a pool of perks in each section, which can give you these bonuses like, you can have faster reloading, or you can, infinitely sprint, stuff like that. Also, you can pick your death streak, which is triggered by dying so many times in a row without getting any kills, will activate your death streak ability. And then there's also kill streaks you can get. You start to unlock more of those as you level up. You can choose which one you want to unlock. And then basically, if you get a certain number of kills without dying, then you'll get that kill streak, which can be ranged from a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you throw out a little care package, or you can like throw up a little UAV thing, so it unlocks, periodically shows enemy positions to you on your radar. If you get like some of the crazier end ones, you can stuff like an EMP, which shuts down like electronics, or like a tactical nuke, which is the big one where that ends the game. You just win if you get that, basically. There's those things, and so you can customize your classes to your liking, and also you can unlock things as you're using your guns. You can get work towards getting a certain amount of kills or doing certain things with your guns. You can unlock these attachments. So you get these different attachments, like here's like a red dot sight, here's like a shotgun attachment, or like a armor piercing round kind of things. There's different attachments you can get for your different weapons and stuff. As you go along and unlock things for them. So there's a lot to do and unlock and level up. And then eventually you can prestige, which is basically resetting most of your progress. You keep some of the overall like tracking your stats kind of things that are going to go towards like your icons and banners and whatever, that kind of stuff. That'll all stay. But then most of the stuff basically mostly do your with your weapons and stuff. And also like notably your perks will level up too. If you use your perk enough, you'll get a higher version of your perk that does more. A pro version. But yeah, all that stuff, like everything but like the other progression, the standard progression stuff of like your icon and banner stuff, everything gets like wiped. You start back at square one and try to level up again at prestige 1. Mostly it's for bragging rights, and that just kind of to extend the play time of the game. And I mean that's pretty much all there is to say as far as like this is what you do in the game. I think. Hopefully I haven't missed much here. And there's a lot to like about this game. I mean, like, I'm not that surprised that people like it this much, because coming back to this, at the time I wasn't super impressed with it, I guess, but playing it again, I was pretty impressed. Like, I wore headphones this time because I was having audio issues when I was initially playing it. I mean, I'm playing this, I started playing it on my Xbox One, and then I had audio issues with my TV, then I got an Xbox Series X, and, played some on there too. But, it's a game that, I mean, I'm not going to say it looks like next gen or anything, but it doesn't look bad by today's standards either. I think it still looks pretty good. But like really what impressed me, like the sound, like wearing headphones especially, the sound design in this is really, really good. I mean, the music is like, it's understated a bit. It kind of sounds like movie score, but it's still like recognizable, or when I hear the themes, I'm like, oh yeah, that's from this, right? Like, they're memorable enough without feeling just like background noise, right? But like the sound design for like stuff is really good, of like, directional stuff, like where are things happening, and these sounds are very crisp and clean. There's a lot of really just like really, really good sound effects they chose for different things, so you can tell what's happening when you hear things. You're not like confused about like where is this or what is this. You have a pretty good idea when you hear something. Things are very distinct and very clear when you're hearing them. And so the sound design is really good, even like especially with those like little like interstitial things between your missions or whatever, and they're doing the voiceover things and showing stuff and whatever. These things kind of do feel like a movie like scene or something, and the sound design, like especially around like the narration of the music underscoring them and stuff, and the sound like hits in there, like it's all very very good. So I can kind of see why people were like, sound design of these are really good. I get it now. Play it with headphones, you'll get it. And the gameplay also is just in all of these things. It's very tight. Very very tight, but still very fluid. And stuff feels satisfying as you just, it just feels really really good to run in quick, whatever, and then like run in quick, aim at somebody, snap, aim at them, shoot them, get them, whatever, turn around, get somebody else, whatever. Do the crazy moves and stuff, do all these things, and then like, oh man, just this crazy play, and it feels awesome because it feels like you did that because the game responds so well and it's so tight and it's so fluid, so it feels good to do, and it looks good, it's satisfying, and it's an accomplishment that you did. And also on the other end of things, when you get your ass kicked, you don't feel like this is stupid bullshit. You're like, okay, well, that person did really good. They got me, right? Like, it doesn't feel cheap because, again, everything is very tight and fluid and it just goes together well. And it's like, it's very, very fun and satisfying in that sense. And that's pretty important for something that you're going to be playing a lot. And you're probably going to die a lot, too, as much as you're getting kills, right? So it's good to know that, like, dying isn't just, like, this horrible, terrible, like, fuck, what was that? It's not even fair. I mean, you'll still say that shit. You'll still get mad and feel like it's bullshit. Sometimes there'll be lag and whatever, sure. But generally speaking, you're not going to feel like it's a horrible, like, just flaw of the game design or something for that. I also really like, well, because the campaign also has sections, too, that I think are really nicely added, especially compared to, like, okay, spoiler, I did play Call of Duty 2 a little bit, also, before recording this. And that game is, like, that's all, pretty much all just, like, running around, waging war stuff, whatever. The thing that's cool about this is, well, one thing, there's not a lot of vehicle stuff. So you're not doing a ton of things where you're like in vehicles, fighting out of vehicles or something, which is good. Because that's usually kind of boring, gimmicky sections, I feel like. So I'm glad that they took that out. And then there's like the thing I like is that they've added in there, instead of just, the kind of like defending positions, being very tactical, clearing stuff out, very like one-on-one fighting people, or like open area trying to clear out, a bunch of people from chaotic stuff. Between those sections, they also have cool sections of like, all right, we're going in like stealthy. You're gonna go in and sneak around and like kill some people. They dot the campaign with some of those things too, and those are like really like it's just a really good pace and a good flow of gameplay. So you don't really get too like locked into a single kind of thing and feel kind of like bored and exhausted of this stuff. And it just does a really good job of keeping the energy levels good, breaking up the pace, making it so you're not exhausted and worn out, but it's not like all the same thing all at once, or crazy constantly and that kind of thing. It's very very good. The Spec Ops I like, it's probably my favorite part of the Spec Ops missions, just because, like, I mean, they're more video gamey, and I think that's why I like them. It's very clear, like, you're going to the section, you're just do this thing, right? Kill this many people, do this thing, and, well, you have some freedom, like, less freedom to do that than, like, some of the cool, like, the way the campaign flows together and everything. I like that probably a little bit more, just because, like, it does feel more video gamey, and, like, it's more clear what you're doing the whole time. And I don't know, I felt more inclined to do that as a difficult thing, right, at a higher difficulty, because I'm like, I know what I'm doing, it's very simple to know what to do, so maybe there's different ways to tackle that simple objective, rather than having, a campaign level of a bunch of different objectives and trying to, I only have so much, like, I have a lot of freedom there, but since it's constantly evolving, I can't just be like, here's my strategy, because I have to keep redoing it all the time and everything. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. I really like Spec Ops missions, though. And the online is, of course, it's just really fun. It's good. It's simple enough, and it's just a progression to keep you going, trying on different weapons and stuff. And like that's actually something I liked about the campaign a lot too. Again, I really didn't care for the campaign that much when I originally played this, But coming back to this, the campaign, also surprised me with the way that it teaches you how to play the game pretty well, and like throws some different weapons at you as well. So it tries to get you kind of into like at least trying out like different strategies, testing out all the mechanics, trying out different weapons, seeing what things you like and don't like, what works, what doesn't work, that kind of thing. I think it's a good way to kind of feel it out and get you ready to start doing the online. So that when you jump into the online, you're not just getting, destroyed constantly and just like flipping around to different weapons, hoping something clicks when you don't really have a very good way to practice with them. So there's definitely a lot to like about this game. For complaints, well, if you're looking at the online thing, let's just start there, because the online thing, again, like there is local multiplayer for this, you can do, but there's no bots, which is kind of a shame. So if the servers go offline again, you're kind of just stuck either finding somebody to play with, which is going to get repetitive much faster because you can only have so many people locally, or you just can't do that mode entirely, and that kind of decreases the value of the game, I think, a substantial amount. Doesn't make it worthless, but it would make me say maybe get it cheaper, right? But then I think the progression thing is also a little annoying too, in that like even at the time it came out, they knew they were making more of these right away. They were doing like yearly releases and shit. So it's like, okay, well, do I really want to spend my entire year just cramming to get all these prestige things for bragging rights and nothing else, or do I, want to play other games in the mix too? Which you don't have to prestige, I guess. You can just level up and get that maxed once, and like I'm good. So I guess it's nice you have the option, but it does feel like a little bit. It can get repetitive and long in the tooth in that sense. But also, the bad thing about the servers being back up is that they're also hackers are back, and they're not being policed right now either. They're like, hey, people can still play these, but they're not going to spend their time, whatever, resources, shit to like police that thing. So basically, it's very likely you will end up in a hacked room at some point. I played a few matches and it was fine. Then I got thrown into a hacked lobby. I didn't really know what was happening. It seemed kind of weird. I was like, what's going on? Is this glitching or something? And then when I got out of the lobby, they had for some reason hacked me into being the final level of prestige and like all these unlocks and everything. And I was like, okay, well that sucks. I kind of wanted to naturally just play this. So that takes away some of the fun of doing that. But yeah, so beware. There's risks with that. I don't know how long the servers will be online. I don't know what your chances are of avoiding hacked lobbies, and I don't know. I just don't know what your experience can be like. It may vary, and it's not something that's guaranteed forever. So enjoy it while it lasts as much as you can. Probably not something you necessarily want to go to for being able to play online for a long time or anything. As I'll throw that out there. The Spec Ops missions are a little annoying in the sense that you need somebody else to play with you for a few of the missions, but not all of the missions. And if anything, I feel like they should have made it so like you could do all of them either solo or with somebody, or made like two separate things maybe. So it's like, oh, here's the solo Spec Ops missions, and here's the co-op Spec Ops missions, and just made more of those or something. I don't know. It's just a little frustrating that a few of those are like, you need to like. I know specifically the one in my head. There's like one where like somebody's in like there's like the AC-130 or whatever thing that can like shoot like missiles and stuff or whatever down. There's someone in that one that's taking out enemies for you, and then one of you is on the ground. Cool mission idea, but it does kind of suck that you need that. There's no AI character to help you with that. There's no way to really do this by yourself, really, unless you're going to be juggling controllers and hoping that it works out for you. Very unlikely it will. And like I said, campaign stuff, I guess this is a very bland, broad thing, whatever. It's not really fair because the game isn't trying to do this, but with the campaign, I will admit that, like, unfortunately, it's not the most exciting thing, even though they're trying to push this into a more modern era of doing this for the time anyways. The problem with this is that you are still, just soldiers versus soldiers on Earth. They're not, like, you don't have, like, a crazy arsenal of, like, sci-fi weapons to shoot off demons, in space or something, right? Like, or in hell, or shoot dinosaurs or whatever. It's just cooler first-person shooters out there for like settings, but that's not the setting they want. It's just probably more of a thing about personal preference and taste than anything else. So when it comes down to it, I think that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the old one, the original one, this one, it's still really good. It's a great game. I think there's definitely a reason why people really highly rate this game. It's not just because they loved this game when they played it as a kid or like in middle school or high school or whatever. It's really good. It's been. I mean, not only did they remake the Modern Warfare games, they also just did like the HD remastering thing of this one by itself, and like it's the campaign, and like. I guess what I'm going to say is this, is that you probably don't want to get this for the online. It's a nice extra thing at this point to kind of play around with and check out a little bit, but you're not going to want to buy this Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for the online. It's probably a limited experience. What you want to do is probably just get this for, the Spec Ops missions, especially if you have a friend to play with, and get it for the campaign to see what that's like. And maybe play around a bit on the online while you can. It's still very good, but like I said, probably like $20 is where you want to set the limit at for this one, because again, the state of the online and the longevity of that, I don't know if it can really justify too much more money than that. And I guess there's options like this are available, and then there's options like the remastered version of this are also available, which might look maybe a little bit better than this and things. I don't know, but I've just played this one. It's still good. It's not just nostalgia that people are talking about here. It's not just rose-tinted glasses being like, yeah, I remember that. It's still good. I played it, and granted, I'm still a little biased because I really got into this before, but I still think this is a really good game. I definitely think it deserves a lot of the love that it gets. So what do you guys think? What's your favorite Call of Duty game? Where do you think the original Modern Warfare 2 ranks today in the Call of Duty series? And this is going to be probably going to be a bunch of Call of Duty videos here. I want to get this out of the way for like some of the basics and stuff, so we don't have to be like, here are all the controls every time, right? So look forward to, I think Call of Duty 2 is probably going to be the next video that comes out. I'm going to be hitting some of these older ones, and then probably going on to some of the newer ones to see, because I wanted to see some of the older ones to see where stuff started before I started playing. I wanted to see if stuff around the time that I was playing still holds up. I wanted to see if some other stuff around about that time was still good also, and I also wanted to see if the newer stuff is good, if it kept being good, even if the stigma around Call of Duty got pretty bad. So if you want to see more Call of Duty reviews, they'll be thrown in here and there when I have them, I think, as I complete them. But look forward to that in 2024. Hopefully I get this review out before 2024 starts. It's late December when I'm recording this, so 2023. So hopefully we got there. But anyway, it'll come out anyway, so that's fine. So thanks for watching, and I guess I'm pretty excited to see what Call of Duty 3, Modern Warfare 3 is like. Boy, that's gonna be fun to do every time, huh? Because this was still really good, and I wonder if they were just like, they made it just even better. But I haven't heard that, so I don't know, but still excited to see. All right, I've been a real person, and now I'm really going to leave.
A new personal best.